Alright, we were trading Friday, October 17th. No news at all today. I'm not gonna lie, earlier I was looking at this as Friday's news, but it doesn't matter because there still wasn't any news during London, so it's fine. Government is still shut down. Let's see what we got. I did miss two trades, and I have to say this again because I didn't end up taking a trade, so I didn't end up posting a video. So some stuff happened with my TopStep account. I didn't blow it. I tried logging into it on my phone, and apparently you can't log in like to multiple different sessions or whatever. So that like messed up my Tradovate account because Tradovate isn't with TopStep anymore, but they were allowing the accounts that were still with TopStep before the change happened, like go through normally. So because it like broke everything, I talked to support, tried fixing it, and they said that they would just swap me over to TopstepX and carry over my progress. So I'm now trading on TopstepX. You can see I still have my account where it was at before, and it honestly took me a little bit, like last night, to figure out how this works. But it's pretty simple. It's kind of like trading on TradingView, but I do wish I could just trade on TradingView. But yeah, real quick, I want to go over the two trades that I missed this week. So actually, let me go on Euro because this is where I would have executed them. So one was last night. It was at this low. Price had an SMT with this 4-hour redelivered rebalance. So DXY had tapped into it, and then Euro had not, right? So let me mark it real quick. Boom. So it was Asia's lows. That was actually the SMT. And Asia's highs, right? So as that happened, and I'm not gonna lie, last night I was expecting somewhat of a turnaround. Like I wanted to look for a short Euro here because we were in the premium of this range, right? And before this candle closed, when we were still like in this area, there was no change in the state of delivery on the daily, right? Yes, there was on the 4-hour, but the daily, no. And since we were in premium, I was expecting that this could be a turning point, right? So I was looking to short up here, but I didn't like this one giant 1-hour for value gap. I was kind of hoping that when London opened, it would take Asia's highs and I could look for a short. Didn't end up happening. Tapped into the bullish 4-hour array, and then I was looking at this entry, but I missed this one because honestly, I'm just full transparency, I was kind of second guessing myself because I was confusing myself with like, okay, well I want to go short, but you know I also want to be bullish with order flow, and I just kind of psyched myself out, even though it really wasn't that complicated in hindsight. I was psyching myself out in the moment, so I missed this entry, right? Then when price was on, I think this candle or this candle, like one of these candles, actually it was before this high was made, for sure, because I remember seeing the relative equal highs, and that like made me feel comfortable that I could still get in this trade. But anyways, around this area, I placed an order to start this for value gap again, stop loss at the low, and then I just set a take profit. Well, I didn't set it yet because how it works on TopstepX is the take profit that I set would have just been a opposite, like opposing side entry. So it would have been a sell limit or sell stop. Yeah, sell limit. And it would have entered me in for an actual sell if I wasn't already in on a buy, right? So, but this is generally what I was targeting, right? Like a 1 to 5. Obviously it played out, but I didn't end up taking it. And then similar situation also happened here at the end of London. let me just go over it real quick because we are in London Open now. I'm trying to remember what was happening. Oh yeah, these relative equal highs. So this was like my reversal point, right? So this is what I was targeting, right? And since we had this SMT here, I'm pretty sure we had SMT here. Yeah. Since we had SMT here, I knew that these relative equal highs were definitely going to get taken at the very least, right? So that's what I was targeting. London opened, saw this Asia range, loved this, wanted to OTE it. Obviously, OTE never came. Price ran to the objective, and obviously on the daily, we're still bearish, right? We haven't had any like change in the state of delivery. Technically, we had just had one on the 4 hour, but it was very recent, so I figured that it could just continue with the order flow bearishly after this buy side liquidity sweep, right? So after this was taken, I also was looking at this leg here. Technically, I could have entered here, but I'm going to be honest, I just didn't even see this. Like, I wasn't even watching it. And then I think there might have been SMT, actually. I want to say there was. Hold on. Wednesday 15th. Wednesday 15th. Boom. Boom. Okay, so yeah, there was SMT here. And then obviously this was just a way better displacement than this. Technically this would have been my entry though, right? Because we took the stage entry, or we took the stage, and then my entry formed, right? We had a change in the state of delivery. Actually, technically, this isn't my entry at all. Good thing I did miss this, because it would have been a waste of time anyways. There was no opposing for value gap that we closed through. Even this one, all the way down here, we didn't close through it, we just wicked it. And this isn't even a short-term low, these are just equal lows, right? So there was no, 5-minute change in the state of delivery. So this wasn't even my entry model anyways. So right here, boom, my entry model. I was literally laying in bed when price was on this candle in this area, and I was contemplating. I was like, dude, do I want to enter this? And I was like, nah, I'm going to bed. I'm just gonna like leave it, right? So yeah, now that we're all caught up, what we're looking at tonight is, let's just start fresh. Weekly, we have 1 day left, right? Obviously, we're looking very bearish. Monthly, looking bearish. Daily, we have had a daily change in the state of delivery now, right? Closing past both of these opposing daily for value gaps, right? And we have tapped into this daily for value gap, and I feel like that this new week opening gap is going to be a draw on liquidity, right? So this will probably end up getting hit, if not today, the next week for sure, in my opinion. But here's the thing. We have this liquidity void, right? There's no buying or selling at all here, right? On top of that, we have mad buy-side liquidity. Like a crazy amount of buy-side liquidity. Like we've just been trending lower. And Asia session consolidation scenario, right? And we have ran Asia's lows. And on top of that, obviously this daily for value gap. Then we have this daily inverse. So it's kind of pointing like we might have some sort of a reversal to, in my eyes, fill this gap and then continue lower. The more I think about it, honestly, the more I think that Friday isn't going to be the day to tap into this new week opening gap. Because for one, it's Friday, right? End of the week. Monday, boom. Like, this is looking like a classic weekly layout, right? Monday, high. Tuesday, high. Lower, lower, lower. Friday, maybe back to inside of the range. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be the draw on liquidity for me, because I'm going to look to go long DXY and short Euro. So let's look at what it looks like on Euro. So we have Euro's equivalent of that new week opening gap that I think won't get hit today on Friday. And then this is liquidity void, but it's a little different on Euro. So technically, if we're going off like the same thing, right, same candles, it would be this new day opening gap, right? But obviously this liquidity void is more of what I'm looking at. And for this, we also have this daily inverse, and we are still inside of this daily rebalance. So yeah, I mean, dude, we need to have some sort of a retracement, right? So I am counter trend trading, which means I don't want to be holding my trade for long. I will mark out this opposing 4 hour and this one, because those could be the turning points. So if I can get a nice entry, right, like a nice 5 minute change in the state delivery, and then get something like this going on, where I could get like anything close to a 1 to 2 or anything over 1 to 1.5 even, I would love to take that. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Alright, this is what we're working with here. I was looking to short from this 5 minute for value gap. Let me just do it all in here, it's way easier. I was looking to short from this 5 minute for value gap. Price never tapped me and it hit the opposing array. So, like I said, I do want this new day opening gap, this liquidity void. Or I guess volume imbalance is actually the right term. I want this to get tapped and filled in. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. So yeah, I am looking at this as kind of like a draw on liquidity, right? But since price has already gone and tapped into this 4 hour and this gap, right? Like, I feel like this is order flow. Like, it hasn't blown through it. Like, it's wicked it and it's reacted strongly off of it, right? Another thing is that there is SMT between Asia's lows and Asia's highs here. So if we do get a 5 minute for value gap lower on DXY and higher on EU, then I will be taking that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I'd rather take a trade. If I am going to place a trade tonight, I'd rather take it in line with order flow than going against it because of this volume imbalance, right? Like, I do think that this volume imbalance will get hit. but it's looking like if this 4-hour for value gap does get respected, which I mean, we're literally tapping into this 4-hour for value gap within the first 45 minutes of this brand new 4-hour candle, right? And then, you know, we are wicking off of this 4-hour for value gap here on Euro, and we're not even halfway, right? So expecting some sort of a reaction to the upside off of Euro here to match the same energy as the dollar, right? My only thing is, like, technically I could just enter right now, right? But since it's SMT, the stop loss placement would be a little bit weird for the Euro. Because, like, the reason why I'm saying I could enter right now is because I'm looking at this as technically this is, I classified it incorrectly. This is Asia displacement range, right? Like, we have these redelivered rebalances, so that's price displacing lower, right? And obviously this is OTE. So, but then, like I said, it's just weird because this has taken its low, so it's like, how would I like do the stop loss here? You know what I mean? Because, like, this is obviously taken, so I guess I could just enter like wherever it was at. Let me see. Like, this is like the median of where it was hovering around, and then just put a stop loss at this low. But then I feel like that's just not in my entry. Like, that's not in my tool bag. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. If Euro hadn't taken Asia's low, and let's say like British pound did, then I would have been fine. Even if British pound didn't, to be honest. Well, no, because there's still a 4-hour for value up here. So, whatever. Ignore what I was saying. I was just yapping right there. But the entry here isn't in my bag, even though it is just an OTE, right? I just wouldn't really know where to put my stop loss besides just this London low, but I don't know if I'd be comfortable with that. So, because of that, I'm just going to wait for a 5-minute for value up and then take it higher on Euro. Alright, so whenever just close, we have a 30-minute engulfing. 15-minute does not look the best, I'm going to be honest. Same with the 5-minute. The 5-minute looks terrible. Yeah, no real change in the state of delivery except for right here we just had that, and then honestly, I'm gonna go for a 30-minute entry here. But I don't want, like, to enter where it's at right now, obviously. I'm gonna just go for that. Boom. Let me do the same here, right at the close of the last 30-minute candle. Stop loss at the bottom. And then my new week opening gap will be the draw, which is at 7775. 7775. And then this is 35 contracts. 3 times. No. 35 ticks. Alright. So I'll just do 2. Boom. 2. And then sell stop for 2. Alright. So I know that we just had like this 30-minute change in the state of delivery, right? But we are coming from this 4-hour for value gap, and the 4-hour definitely is looking more bullish now, especially on the dollar here. I mean, look at that. First hour of the 4-hour candle wicks into this 4-hour for value gap and just completely drops. Like, that's crazy. So yeah, This my entry. We'll see if he gets tapped or not. Yeah. All right, I just closed the position. I'm not liking how this is closing, so I feel like I was just trying to force a trade here as well. I am like in line, right? Daily, bullish, 4-hour. We're coming from a 4-hour array. It's like we have everything, right? Like direction, stage, and then entry was just a 30-minute here, right? Scenario was the Asia displacement range mixed with SMT, right? But I just don't like how it's forming, like especially since it's a Friday. Also, since it's a Friday, I realized that I broke my rules because I usually don't trade Mondays or Fridays unless we're coming from an array. Like, what's a good example? Like, I mean, actually on the 4-hour, like if we're, boom, like this, you know what I mean? Like we're coming from an array, and if Friday didn't open all the way down here, like let's say that London session started on this candle, or like something like that, then it would be better. But yeah, I just with this, it was just my mind was on, like my mind was getting too mixed up. And I think part of that is because I was a little anxious to get into a trade because I know that I missed 2 trades, right? Obviously I already went over them, but this trade I could have taken, and then this trade I could have taken, right? So, not to mention it was just a crazy week because I had to set this up, TopstepX and all that. So yeah, I just decided, okay, you know what, 5-minute disrespected, bullish order flow, and then respected bearish order flow. So I'm just gonna get out there at half the position, so minus 0.5, a little under actually, a little under 0.5%, but yeah, this is probably gonna end up running for the stop loss for sure. So yeah, all in all, even though it was like very chaotic, I think that I played this well, even though I technically was breaking my rules, right? Trading Friday, even though we weren't coming from a higher time frame objective. But yeah, I'm just gonna call it for the weekend. This game Arc Raiders is coming out. I'm just gonna play that over the weekend, chill, and then go into next week ready. So, yeah, GG.